Hey everyone, this is Mike,
And this is Josh. And
and we
we
are
are
real
real
dead.
dead. Yes. And today, Mike, what movie are we doing today?
We're doing Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, because it's Halloween time of year.
Yes.
And this movie is kind of making a comeback now. There's a bunch of NECA figures that's come out, some Toonie Terrors of it. And this has kind of become a cult classic real quick, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
where it's been a rejuvenation of people wanting to watch this.
Yep.
I watched it yesterday. It's the first time I'd watched it probably since I first saw it, 20, 30 years ago. I mean, it's been a while.
Did you see this in the theater, Mike?
I did not.
Okay.
No, I don't think I. Well, you know what? I think I did. I think my mom did take me. Now that you say that, I think I
Really?
did go see this one.
Really? That is cool.
I do think I. Yeah, yeah. I
82.
do remember it now.
82, Mike.
Yep, I would have
How
been
old were you
11
in
years
82?
old.
How?
I'd have been 11, 82, 11 years old.
Okay, yeah. That's cool. It is rated R, and there is a little bit of nudity in this, so I don't. Not much though. But there is a lot of creepy stuff in this movie.
Back in the day, it wasn't so creepy, but it is definitely creepy nowadays.
And yeah. So, do you want to read the synopsis, Mike?
Yeah, let me add it here. Hospital emergency room, Dr. Daniel Dan Chalice, Tom Akins, and Ellie Greenbridge, Stacy Nelkin, the daughter of a murder victim, uncover a terrible plot by small-town mask maker Connell Cochran, Dan O'Harely. I butchered that, but I'm sorry. A madman who's planning a Halloween mass murder utilizing an ancient Celtic ritual. The ritual involves a boulder stolen from Stonehenge, the use of silver shamrock mask, and a triggering device contained in a television commercial, all designed to kill millions of children.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the plot of the bad guy, like his mission, it is pretty horrendous, Mike. Honestly, it really is. It's frightening because you wouldn't know this was going to happen. It's not like a killer walking around like Michael Myers.
Right.
One guy. This is murdering thousands and thousands and millions at one time, Mike.
Yep.
So it's pretty bad. So let's talk about this rating.
So yeah, the critics actually, 50. I mean, it's average.
Yep.
5 out of 10. I mean, it's not great, but it's actually better than Halloween 2.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But the audience only gave it a 28. Now this only has 36 reviews from critics.
Right.
It's got over 50,000 views from the audience. The audience gives it a 28 out of 100.
In my opinion, it's not a great movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie in my opinion. I think the villain is really good in this. I like him a lot. Tom Atkins, his character is funny and cringe, but I like it still. It's funny. The girl, she is not a good actress in my opinion, but she's all right in it. Yeah, it has some comedy in it, not purposely, but through our eyes today, it could be seen as some comedy.
I mean, this is a 48-year-old man hooking up with a 25-year-old young girl, and he's a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, yes. He doesn't pay attention. He does everything in his power to not hang out with his children, including hanging out with a 25-year-old woman for the weekend. Also, when he had to make a stop to pick up a 6-pack of Miller High Life before he went on that road trip. He did.
It was Miller High Life. I mean, we got to remember that. But you also brought up, and I didn't realize this, that the original girl that played Annie in the number 1 is brought back as his wife in this one.
His ex-wife.
Yeah, his ex-wife.
But they make her look older when she's not really. She's still very young because this only took place 4 years after the original. So
they put a gray hair on her. She's wearing a wig or something.
Yeah. So, but yeah. And also Tom Atkins' character's kissing one of these research ladies in the.
He's a creeper, man. He's a old school. He's an old school doctor, man. Just is hitting on everybody.
And then he's like, I gotta go back to work, and she's like, oh great, a drunk doctor. His ex-wife said because he's been drinking. Yep. And then he goes to his work, talks to that lady, and then all of a sudden he's just laying on his couch in his office sleeping.
Yeah, let me go take a nap. That was pretty creepy though, with the guy coming in and going, you know, that
Oh yeah.
I did think it was extremely cheesy whenever the same guy that ends up in the hospital, the car rolls back and crushes the That's pretty cheesy, man.
Yeah, it is bad, but it's funny. Yeah, I like that. I think it's good. I like those guys because it's kind of like mysterious. You're like, what are these guys? Like they're like hitmen for a guy or whatever.
Like Men in Black or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
What did you think about the Silver Shamrock commercial?
Love it. I love that.
By the end of it, I'm like, oh God, please don't play it one more time. I mean, they play it over and over and over.
Oh, they do. But I do like it. I think it's cool. And you see these masks, which, you know, I just happen to have the NECA figures right here. I actually did an unboxing of them today. Here's the witch mask. Here's the skeleton mask. And here's the pumpkin mask. And listen,
I mean, the mask, I think, looked pretty cool for back then.
Yes, no doubt.
And I like how in the newer Halloween movies, they throw back and a callback to them in some of the movies.
Right. I did write a note. No wonder Dan has an ex-wife with all the women he's.
That's right.
So Halloween exists in this universe because he's in a bar. No surprise, Dan's in a bar, and the guy turns on the TV and it's a commercial for Halloween. It says, "Watch Halloween this Halloween."
Yeah,
and it's Michael Myers for. It's Laurie Strode and Michael Myers for like 3 seconds is on the TV.
Yep.
Right, Mike?
Yep. Yeah, he's in a bar. He's in a bar too. And some of the famous scenes where they filmed number 2 and number 3. Number 3 is filmed in the same area.
Okay. Now him and this girl's dad was killed. We didn't talk about that. Well, this guy was being chased and he had a mask and he's like, stop them, they're going to kill people, but no one would listen to him because they thought, oh, he's just like some kind of crazy guy. But he ends up getting killed in a pretty vicious way. They put a hand over his mouth and they grab his nose right here and just like rip up.
Pull it back.
Oh my gosh, that was vicious. And I think that was that Dick Warlock? Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in the previous film, is one of these hitmen or goons for the boss in this movie. And that might have been him, but I can't. No, I don't think it was because that guy blew.
I don't think it was him. I think he was in later on, but
yeah,
they all look similar to each other.
But this guy just gets in a car and pours gas all over himself and lights it up and blows it up. It's crazy. It's
station wagon again. Michael Myers station wagon.
Yeah. So Tom Atkins, for whatever reason, he goes with this girl to find out. I mean, I think we know the reason. And but he goes with this girl to try to figure out what happened to her father and stuff. And they go to this town. It's a small town that, you know, it's real like North Korea. I mean, everything's controlled here. You could tell like it was like you couldn't stay out past 6 o'clock, Mike, at this place. Like,
yeah, it's the little town. The little town's called Santa Mira.
Yeah, it was. What are you doing here? Turning a light on and off?
Yeah, I'm trying to dim the lights here and get a little more in the mood, Josh.
No, but yeah, so they go there and there's cameras watching them, and like there's a curfew at 6 o'clock. So they go to this motel and they're trying to figure out the Silver Shamrock Company. They stay kind of across the street from it or whatever, trying to figure stuff out about the Silver Shamrock Company. They can't really find out nothing about it because everybody just talks about how great Mr. Cochran is and all that. And then, listen, as Tom Atkins Dan is walking back to the room, these people pull up, almost hit him with like a RV, and then he's walking like 3 more steps, and a lady pulls up and almost hits him again. Did you notice that, Mike?
Yep.
So, and this lady's like from San Francisco, and she's like, "Oh, this place is a dump." And so she like stayed there and their shipment wasn't ready or whatever. And the other guy with the RV had a wife and a kid, and he was like the best salesman of these masks. Yep. So they invited him to the factory. And Tom Atkins and Ellie go to this hotel room and they're in there. And she was like, "We need to find out what happened to my dad." And he's like, "Hold on a minute. I need a drink.
And then what's the pickup line? Is something like
say it.
He says something like
No.
huh?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
He said something about like, well, should we get another room or something like that? And she said, well, you could stay. I can't remember what exactly she said. You say it, Josh. But basically, she was saying, you could stay here. And he's like, you didn't have to ask me or something, or what I want or something. I don't know, but you may know the exact words he said, but in other words, he knew what was getting ready to happen.
Yeah, she said, "Where do you want to stay?" And he goes, "You don't have to." Yeah, like you said,
you don't have to ask me that.
And it's like, oh god, this guy kissing this lady, it just looks weird.
I had to look up their ages because 48 and 25 is 23-year difference.
Yeah, it looks like she's kissing her dad. So, but yeah, she ends up coming out in like some nightgown, and they get busy, and he's got those Miller High Lifes on ice, Mike.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So that was a weird thing. But then what happens next here?
I do have one of the cool parts I saw was when those like goons. There's a town drunk there, and he tells. Yeah. He tells Atkins some of the stuff is going on.
He said Cochran.
Yep, they end up pulling the guy's head off. Man, it was pretty wild.
I think that was Dick Warlock that did that.
Probably was.
Yeah, and they pulled the guy's head right off. And then that lady from San Francisco, she's messing with the mask, and there's a chip on the back of these masks, like this, like probably about like this big, it's not a 50-cent piece, and it falls off. So she's over there messing with it with a pick. A beam of light shoots like a laser into her mouth.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like her skin just all peels back. It's gnarly, isn't it, Mike?
Yep. And there's some kind of like bead comes out of her mouth or something.
No, it's like a bunch of bugs and stuff come out. It's crazy looking, dude. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the Cochran and people from the factory come over, take the body, and they get rid of it. And then Tom Atkins is asking questions like, "Oh, where are you taking them?" Blah blah blah. And they're like, "Oh, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her and stuff." And so they were like, "Oh, this is suspicious." Then they decide to go. Tom Atkins and the girl decide to go into this factory, right, Mike?
Yep.
And there's a really creepy old-looking woman in this part that they come upon. And it turns out it's a robot. And so you're like, wait, what the heck? Because her head falls off. And I do like the music cues where it goes, like when her head fell off. I like that. I thought the music in this is actually good, Mike. I like the music in this. I wonder if John Carpenter did the music in this one, because he was behind the direction of this movie. So that's why I'm wondering if he did it or not.
Yeah, I'll try to check that out real quick, Josh.
So they go in here and they're looking for the what happened to the dad or whatever, and they end up getting the girl, right? They find them and they get the girl, right? They take her as prisoner, don't they, Mike?
Hey, so the original music is John Carpenter and Alan Howarth.
I knew it.
Howarth.
I knew it because it sounds like something he would do. Yep. So once they get into this factory, they find that old lady. What happens, Mike? They get captured, right?
Yeah, she also notices her dad's station wagon is there, and they end up getting captured. They capture the girl. They put her in a room. They put what do you call his character's name again? Cochran.
Yeah.
They put him in a room, and then they're like, they tell the whole story about the Celtic ritual to him.
I love that. I love that, Mike.
The whole storyline on that, and then they make him watch. In a test room, they have the number one salesman, his son, and his wife in there. They lock the doors on it, and then the whole commercial about putting your mask on. And he puts his mask on. The commercial comes on, and then the whole destruction of his head, the little boy's head, and then all the snakes come out and bugs come out, roaches. Yeah, and then the snake ends up biting the dad. The mother, I think, just falls out.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It's brutal, dude. I think it's great. It's probably the most memorable scene in the movie, would you say? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's awesome. So then they put him in this room and he ends up escaping. They put a mask on his head because they want him to die that same way.
Yep.
but he ends up going to get the girl. What's her name? Ellie? Yeah, Ellie. And
Yep.
he gets her. She's locked up. And then they go to the main room where the guy is, and they're getting ready to launch the commercial or whatever. And it was like a big prize. That's how they were getting people. They're saying it was a big prize giveaway. So beat your TV with your mask on or whatever. And so they go, and he ends up grabbing a bunch of those chips that were in a box, and he like throws them down while they're all working, and it, like the electrical currents or something, they shoot out, they kill people.
The song was
And-
the commercial was being played, so it triggered it to go off.
Right. And so, but the commercial gets shut off or whatever. And
not at that point when he kills all them. I mean, they're still.
That I think they were just testing it or something. It hadn't run on the TV yet for the whole nation. So, and that they end up dying. And then all of a sudden, like the big rock from Stone. Oh yeah, we didn't say that. They got the rock from Stonehenge. They stole it, and the Stonehenge rock glows, and then this other thing glows, and it shoots the Cochran guy, and he just like turns into pure light, and he's smiling, and then he just disappears, which I think is cool. I like the effect. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I thought Cochran's speech was
I'm locked up again, Josh.
Your screen is totally black. I thought Cochran's speech, you were talking about that, Mike, it was chilling in my opinion. He's like, the hills ran red with blood, and it was awesome. Like, he loved it. He was loving all of this. He said it was the last great whatever they called it. And it was chilling. They end up blowing, the place blows up or whatever, and they got to go warn people not to watch this commercial. But there's another twist. Ellie is a robot, and she tries to attack him. This goes on for far too long, in my opinion. Like, all of a sudden, her arm's alive, and it just chokes him. And then, like, you know, that is kind of dumb, in my opinion. The twist isn't bad.
I may have missed what happened with the real Ellie. She never was real Ellie?
So there's two ways of looking at this. She was never real and always a robot, or they took her, killed her, and they made a robot of her.
Right.
So those two things. So that's what I would say. And it's icon. The ending's kind of iconic because he goes to that same gas station where her father went in the beginning of the movie, gets on the phone, and he's like, turn the commercial off, turn it off. And he's like, stop it, stop it, stop it. And he's like yelling into it, and that's how it ends. Because like they end up turning it off on a couple of channels, but
then they don't turn it off on one channel.
They didn't turn it off. So some people are going to die. Oh, there's another part of the movie where it shows different states all over the United States, and it showed kids wearing these masks, a ton of them. Yeah. So it's crazy. There is one part that I left out that I just wrote here is after they had sex, Tom Atkins' character says, how old are you?
After they've already had it. Yeah, after the effect. Oh, creepy Tom.
Oh man, I do like Tom Atkins. I'd love his autograph or to meet him. I know he's getting I think he's in his high 80s too, Mike. Yeah. I would love to meet him, get an autograph. He was just at that Halloween 45.
Yep.
And they had an exclusive
him and Dick Warlock.
Yeah, and they had an exclusive NECA figure of Tom Atkins. They never released one. They had one for that show only, and he was autographing a ton of them, wasn't he, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah. How lucky those people are. So is there anything else you want to say about this movie, negative or good, Mike?
No, I think to me, a lot of it was, and it'll reflect in the final rating for me, as some of it was just so cheesy, man. I just don't think it held up over time, in my opinion. Not as well as number 2 did, but I guess I'll go ahead and give my score for it, Josh. Yeah. My score is going to be pretty low on it. Again, 5 is average for me. I'm going to give this thing like a 3.5. It just did not hold. Now, I love the whole characters. I love the mask. I like the idea of this. It just does not hold up for me over time. I mean, I just can't. I mean, I'd love to see somebody remake this one and really up it a little bit and maybe not make it quite, it just come across pretty cheesy.
So you gave it a half a rating more than Halloween Ends. So that's good. Yeah, I think a lot of people watch this movie now for all the things that I talked about, where Tom Atkins is just being Tom
You
Atkins.
just kind of laugh about it. And it's kind of
Right.
a cult fan.
I think that's why people watch it nowadays, Mike, honestly. And it does have some good parts in it. You know, I'm not taking away from it. But for me, it doesn't rank very high either. But I will give it a 5.5, in my opinion.
Okay.
I will.
Not bad. It's above
I still
average.
enjoyed it. It's not boring. It's not a boring movie, I don't think. But you did say it does cheesy. It is cheesy. And yeah, a lot of the things in it didn't age well, in my opinion. But like I said, still enjoyable. And I'm glad that they tried to do something different because of John Carpenter wanted Michael Myers dead. So they wanted to do something different. And this was supposed to trigger a new Halloween movie every year or every other year with a different topic. That's what it was supposed to be from here on out. And part of me thinks, like, what would that have looked like? Like, that could have been cool. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, this movie flopped hard. And so they went back to Michael Myers in the fourth one, even though he burned alive. So, yeah.
All right. So tell us what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell us in the description down here.
Yep.
1 through 10, what would you give this? Have you seen it recently? Did it age well for you? Also, check us out on Real Dead Horror Community.
Yes.
And we talk about all kinds of collectibles and horror stuff.
Yep.
Josh, you have a good one, man. Thank you guys
buddy.
for checking us out.
Bye.